What is up, guys? Welcome to another video. Another video means another dopamine high because I had to buy something to feel something, and today we are doing another review and we are cracking it back at the NECA Alien Fireteam Elite franchise. I know, took a break to get some stuff out, and now here we are back at it. We are now halfway through, and today we are reviewing the Burster Alien, arguably one of the most annoying variants in the game. So with all that said, let's jump into the Burster Alien. And for those who have not played Alien Fireteam Elite and don't know what a Burster Alien is, a Burster Alien is a variant of alien covered in acidic boils all over its body that, you know, when it gets close enough to its victim, it explodes, killing itself and the victim with its acidic blood. But if you shoot them in time, they just kind of explode. They're arguably, like I said, one of the most annoying variants in Alien Fireteam Elite because when they swarm you, God, they show no fucking mercy. But yeah, that is the Burster Alien. Now let's jump into the review. And looking at the box, of course, we have the boy in the packaging and then, you know, the logo with his name. So there's that, and then moving over to the side of the box, we do get a nice look at his face, that a face only a mother could love, and then we have the description of him on the back and then some photos of him with the rest of the wave, meaning we have one left, which is the runner alien, who will be our next review up on the channel. So yeah, let's open him up to get a good visual. And when we do open him up, we can see that there is no stand. So it seems like the Spitter Alien was the only variant to come with a stand, which is weird. I kind of wish they all did. But, you know, visuals first impressions, everything is looking promising. So let's jump right into it. So starting off with articulation in the head region of the figure, he can look up and down a very good amount. I'm very happy with the range of motion he has within his neck and head. It's just very impressive because I know that most Xenomorph figures, at least the ones I've reviewed, can't really look up and down all that too well. And then of course you can rotate his head 360 degrees, so very happy with the range of motion in the head region of this figure. Then taking a look at his arms, he can spread open his arms, you know, pretty good for the most part, you know, depending whether you have him on all fours or on, you know, two legs. Then you can rotate his arm 360 degrees as usual, and then going down to the elbow, we can bring his forearm up a very decent amount. And then, you know, moving down to the hand, we know the usual formula, you know, rotate 360 degrees and bend the wrist pretty much however you want. So yeah, a very good range of motion throughout his entire arm, which is always good to see, especially because this guy relies on his two arms for, you know, being on all fours. And then tackling his torso, you can rotate it 360 degrees as usual, and then you can kind of like pivot, wibble wobble it in any direction. So very good range of motion throughout the torso. Very happy to see it. And then taking a look at his legs, you can kind of spread them open whether he's on all fours or standing upright, but the range of motion is fairly limited due to the carapace at the top of his legs. And then of course you can rotate his legs 360 degrees. If you couldn't, I would be genuinely surprised at this point. And then looking at his kneecap, you can move that back and forth a really good amount. You know, you can straighten it all the way out or fold it all the way back. Very nice to see there, very good range of motion. And then bringing things down to the heel of his leg, same principle with the knee, you can straighten it all the way out, or you can, you know, bring it all the way forward. And then obviously moving down to the foot, same principle, back and forth. Very nice to see there. Very good range of motion throughout his entire leg. And then of course, if you really wanted to, for whatever reason, you can straighten out his entire leg and get this kind of cursed look, because, you know, this guy's supposed to be on all four and these are hind legs after all. So overall, very good range of motion throughout the legs. And then bringing it to the tail, you can rotate it at the base 360 degrees, and then because this is a Xenomorph tail by NECA, you know, you can manipulate it however you want. You know, there's that wire in there that allows you to pretty much put it in any position you want, and it feels really good because of its length. The longer the tail, usually the more you can do with it, so very cool. So overall, very happy with the range of motion throughout this figure's body. And then finally, we can't forget the second mouth. Obviously, you just pop open the mouth, pull it out, and for some reason I feel like this wave has very small or short second mouths, but no, there it is. Very good paint job and sculpt, despite how small it being. Just another thing that NECA does really well. But yeah, and here we are at the variant comparison segment of the video. This kind of fills in the accessories portion of the video because most Xenomorph figures don't really come with any accessories. So yeah, have to fill in the space somehow. And for this wave of figures, we're using Big Chap as a reference because the Alien Fireteam Elite aliens are based off of the Big Chap design, or I should say inspired off of the Big Chap design. So yeah, Big Chap's being used as reference here. And starting off with the head region, we can see Big Chap with the classic cylindrical shaped head with all the tubes and wires on the side with his nice sharp silver teeth. And then if we take a look at the Burster Alien, his head's a lot shorter, still has that cylindrical shape, but now he has a bunch of acidic boils on the top of his head, and very minimal tubing or wiring shown there. And then if we take a look at his mouth, he kind of has lips, whereas Big Chap does not. And then his teeth aren't long and sharp, they're more kind of crude and short. So looking at their arms, we can see that Big Chap, because of his size, has bigger and thicker arms with some ribbage going down the bicep and forearm. And the Burster Alien, though, has thinner arms, seems to have more muscle on them, and where there is ribbage are acidic boils going down his arm. And then taking a brief look at their hands, we can see that they have the same amount of fingers in the same formation, but the Burster Alien's fingers are a lot longer and thinner. And then taking a look at their torsos, we can see that they have the same kind of rib cage design going on, where our Burster Alien has a lot more ribs going on. And then the bottom half of their torso, the waistline if you will, it seems that Big Chap has all these tubes and these like bumps going on, and it has a kind of a relatively same size bottom half, where if we look at the side of the Burster Alien, we can see that his bottom half is a lot thinner, and there's not really that many wires or tubes or bumps going on. It kind of just keeps going with the rib cage design. And if we just take a look at the Burster Alien, besides seeing boils on his arm and his head, we can see that his body is just kind of one big boil, because though under all the tubes and the wires and the rib cage on Big Chap, we can see his skin, and on the Burster Alien, we can kind of see through his skin and see all the acid go throughout his body. And then turning them around just for a moment, we can see that Big Chap has the classic 5 spines on his back, 4 that are completely identical, and then the one kind of flat one on top. And then when looking at the Burster Alien, we can see that he has no spines at all, just has that rib cage design going on all the way down to his butt, and then we can still see through his skin because, like I said, he's just one big boil. And then taking a look at their legs, we can see that Big Chap, yet again because of his size, has longer, thicker legs that are kind of more on the straight side with ribbage at his thighs. And then looking at the Burster Alien, he has some carapace kind of armor at the very top, and then his thigh is pretty much just one big acidic boil, and then we can see more boils going down from the knee to his heel all the way to the base of his foot. And yet again, the same principle with the arm, though that the Burster Alien has thinner legs, it seems to be more muscular than Big Chap's. And then obviously the one big difference between these two, besides the acidic boils, is that Big Chap has more humanoid bipedal legs, where Burster Alien has more animal-like hind legs. And finally, taking a look at their tails, I know I said it with the Prowler Alien that they have kind of the same length tail, but I kind of take back what I said, because the Burster and the Prowler use the same tail. It seems like that the Burster Alien has the longer tail, even if you did remove the big blade at the end of it. And just going to Big Chap for just a second, he's got the normal xenomorph tail, thin but long-ish. And then looking at the Burster Alien, longer tail, thicker tail with a huge blade at the end of it. And before we move on to final thoughts and discussion, let's do some size comparisons just to put him in scale with some other figures. And I'm going to have him on all fours because that is how he's portrayed in the game, so only makes sense to do so. Starting off, we're putting our Burster Alien next to Big Chap. Then we have the Scout Predator, which I just did a review on, so go check that out if you want to. And then keeping that green aesthetic, we have Jazzwares Halo The Spartan Collection Mark 5B. Then we have Jazzwares The World of Halo Halo Infinite Master Chief. We are still keeping it green with Hasbro Star Wars The Black Series Commander Gree. And finally, we have McFarlane's The Doomslayer. And here we are at the turntable segment of the video, where I go over what I like, dislike, stuff like that, just give my thoughts about the figure, and hopefully give you something to branch off to go down to the comment section, create a discussion, and I will most likely respond to your comment, because I like talking about this stuff. So, as per usual, I like to get the stuff that I dislike out of the way, just get the sour stuff out of the way first, and here we are. So, I don't really have any irks or gripes with this figure. I think that this is a fine figure overall. I understand that this wave is kind of like a bunch of re-releases for the most part. I know the Prowler Alien, the Runner Alien, and then of course our Burster here are very similar. They use some of the same sculpts and some of the same molds for, you know, parts, so it's a bunch of like re-release stuff. So I'm not gonna be like, oh, I dislike how this is just like the Prowler Alien. In the game, they're fairly similar, so of course the figures are gonna be fairly similar. So not really much a dislike, but just something I don't want to put out there, because there's people out there that I know that really dislike kind of just copy and paste figures, or just, you know, figures where it's allegedly different and realistically it's just, you know, a cheap re-release of another. So just putting that out there for you. But one thing that I actually do dislike about this figure, and I've started kind of ranting about with, you know, the Xenomorph figures specifically, is their price point. I do not think this is worth $40 if the Predators are $40, because the Predators come with a bunch of goodies, a bunch of accessories, swappable parts, stuff like that. And with the Xenomorphs, we just get the Xenomorph. We don't get any accessories, nothing like that. So I don't know why they're the same price. Don't get me wrong, it's NECA quality, but, you know, so are the Predators, so why are they the same price? Just something, you know, food for thought, something that I kind of hope that we can get change in, which is, you know, the prices for the Xenomorph figures. And then, you know, that's what I can pretty much consider what I dislike about this figure. But what I do like about this figure is usually the run-of-the-mill NECA figure stuff. There's nothing that this figure realistically excels in. I really like how the boils look transparent, and that there's like acid. Just the effect they emit just looks really cool. I will give the figure that. But at the end of the day, this is your normal run-of-the-mill NECA action figure for a Xenomorph. You know, the articulation is really good, the range of motion I like, just there's a lot of it, and, you know, that's always good. And then of course the paint job and the sculpt is phenomenal. They did really good, like I said, with the acid boils on them. It looks really good how they got that down. Very cool. And just, you know, even the non-acidic parts look very cool. Just all the weathering and, you know, the paint job just looks phenomenal. And the sculpting, all the little parts they got with the ribs and the bumps and the tubes and just everything looks amazing. So there's, you know, all the normal NECA stuff that I really like about NECA figures is there. And yeah, that's pretty much what I like and dislike about this figure. I just like the fact that it's at the $40 price mark, even though the Predators come with a bunch of stuff. So I feel like that this guy should be a little bit cheaper, seeing that it doesn't really come with any accessories. And I really like how this figure looks and feels. It does a really good job with the acidic boils. But at the end of the day, this is your run-of-the-mill NECA Xenomorph figure. So yeah, tell me down below, what do you like and dislike about this figure, if you have it already, and if you don't, are you going to get this figure? Create a discussion down below, let's talk about it, and let's move on to the outro of the video. So with all that said, if you did enjoy this video, a like and a subscription would be appreciated. You don't have to comment down below, get it, it's a lot of effort, but if you do want to create a discussion and branch off anything I said, you're more than welcome to. I love responding to those comments, just, you know, talking about the stuff I like reviewing. And then don't worry about the bell, we both know that shit is broken. And if you do want to see more stuff like this, I have plenty of it on the channel. I've reviewed some of the other variants from the Fireteam Elite wave that NECA is doing. I've done some of the Predator stuff, I have done Halo stuff, I've done Star Wars stuff, so there's plenty of stuff to check out on the channel. And with all that said, I hope you have a great day, stay hydrated, because if you don't, I'll fucking kill you.